Shifting focus now, Chinese President Xi Jinping is all set to further tighten his grip on power. Earlier today, around 300 officials of the Communist Party of China, also known as the CCP, and senior leaders, including Xi, gathered in Beijing for the 6th plenary session. Now, the closed-door meeting will go on for the next 4 days, following through on the functioning of the CCP, similar to the functioning of the regime. Little is in public knowledge as to what exactly will be discussed behind closed doors. A communique will be released at the end of the session with the details. The agenda of the meet has, however, been disclosed. This session is expected to produce a resolution on the history of the party, or as analysts say, cementing Xi's position. This is the third such meeting held in the last century. Before this, former Chinese leader Mao Zedong and his successor Deng Xiaoping had unveiled a historic resolution of the party. The crucial 4-day session is also expected to set the tone, give direction to China's future as a world power, and as we said before, establish Xi Jinping as an equal to Mao and Deng. We mentioned the past 2 historic resolutions, ones that formed China as we know it today. The resolution released during Mao's regime set out the aims of the party in 1945, with himself as the only true leader, while Deng's in 1981 resolution had condemned the failures of Mao's rule. While salvaging the party, the resolution by the current leader determines how Chinese history is taught and depicted. Jinping aims to take on the future while ascertaining the past in one go. Now, for the last few days, China's state news agencies Xinhua has been posting daily tweets talking about the leader's involvement in everyday life, his concern for even a small farmer. The tweets talk about his vision, his work, perfectly synonymous with the overall agenda of the events to come. In the last few years, China has made numerous territorial advances, angering countries in Asia and Indo-Pacific. It all falls in line with Xi's definition of nationalism, of a united China, one that has Taiwan and Hong Kong as part of Chinese territory. The session also comes at a time when the CCP is celebrating its centenary anniversary. The Chinese Communist Party is the world's second largest political party. At over 94 million, they constitute over 6.6% of China's population, forming the backbone of the CCP as grassroots workers. Now, the party is headed by the General Secretary, who at present is Xi Jinping. Next in line is the 7-member standing committee that takes all major decisions from defense to economy, followed by the Politburo and the Central Committee. Now, the times are not easy for China at present. The country is facing yet another COVID outbreak, one that risks locking down the entire country once again. Vegetable prices are soaring. The Ministry of Commerce has asked the Chinese people to stock up on long-lasting supplies. Weather reports indicate a harsh winter. Now, these are challenges on just the domestic front. Outside the borders, Beijing finds itself in a tussle with Washington, and there are chances of confrontation with Taiwan, a debt crisis looming large, and the last global condemnation for the persecution of the ethnic minority, the Uyghurs. Now, regardless of the fine details, there is no doubt that Xi Jinping will lead China for the next decade, even a few more. He is expected to be at the apex of power for the rest of his life, cementing his place in China's history and future, or as George Orwell put it in his book, "Who controls the past controls the future. Who controls the present controls the past." And Xi, for now, has a tight grip on both.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.